Hello YouTube, welcome back to Bison Workshop. I'm Bob, and yesterday we went and got the rear end for my truck. This will be another attempt. This time we're not going to skip no steps. This time we're going to do everything the way it should be, and this is going to happen. I'm getting tired of working on this truck, and I've got other things I want to do. I'd rather be working on something in the shop, making something, or doing something on the lathe or something like that. But right now this truck is taking up all my time, and like I said yesterday, we went and got another frame, and we've got it here on the trailer. And I've got good news and I've got bad news. The good news is I did get a rear end, and it's a beefy one. It's bulletproof. It ain't bison proof, but it's bulletproof. Anyway, let me show you what I got. We got the frame. It's a 88 Ford F350. He said it was an extended cab, and somebody had done a lot of modifications to it and put a it had a gas motor on it, because these here are 302/351 small block motor stands, which is actually the same identical stands that I have in my truck. And when I put my 460 in mine, I had to use motor mounts out of a Galaxy to mount on it, or mount the motor on. So we got this frame, wiring harness and all. I'm going to be getting the master cylinder off of it, and both the tubes that goes down to the proportioning valve to put on my truck, because I'm getting tired of my master cylinder frickin' rusting on me. So that one's aluminum with the plastic housing. I ain't worried about the plug on that, because that's only for the brake light, and I think my brake light switch is on the proportioning valve. Anyway, this is the rear end that we got. This is a Dana 70. Yes, Dana 70 HD. This didn't come in any truck's factory. This was a special order rear end. It's a, like I said, a Dana 70 HD. It is 410. The good news, I've got the rear end. The bad news is I'm not done spending money on this frickin' truck. I'm going to have to get 355, or well, they consider it a 354 ring and pinion for it, and I'm going to try to sell all the guts out of my rear end separately to pay for the ring and pinion on it. We can get this up in there, and I'm not going to do no painting to it. I'm just going to clean the grease off the hubs, or the drums, which you can see here. We got a bunch of grease and stuff like that on it. I'll clean this off. This is actually wheel cylinder grease is what that is, or fluid, where it tells me that the wheel cylinders are leaking on this. And these drums are like almost twice the size of the drums that's on my truck now, and mine don't have this spacer. So this year my drum comes to about right here. So this thing's got about 2 inches more for the wheels. And this I'm not going to clean the rear end up. I'm not going to do no painting. Yes, I know that's not the Bison way, but I'm going to have to take this thing apart again anyway, so to put the ring and pinion in it. Right now I'm just going to put it in there, get it so that it can be driven, and just won't have no four-wheel drive. Simply because the four-wheel drive, the front rear is 354 and the rear is going to be 410, so I'm not going to be able to put it in four-wheel drive. I never use my four-wheel drive anyway. We don't never get enough snow around here to worry about it, and when I do get enough snow to worry about it, I'm in my house, warm, either in bed or watching TV or eating. I don't get out there and play in the snow like I used to when I was young and a kid and dumb full of shit. So this is where we stand right now. I got to take this rear. We're going to test it today because it looks to me like somebody's already had this thing apart, because that's our TV gasket maker right there that's on it, and that indicates that this rear has been taken apart before. If this rear end has been changed, see, we got to test that. I might get lucky. I'm praying to God. I'm leaving it in His hands that somebody has already done exactly what I'm going to do if this is not what I want. They may have already changed this to a 355. If we test it and find out that it is, then yeah, I'm done with this rear except for painting it. I did get brakes for the other rear that's under the truck, and I got new not master cylinders. I don't know why I keep saying master cylinders. Wheel cylinders for it, but these wheel cylinders on this are different than the ones that's on my truck, so I'm going to have to take them back and get the ones for this rear. With this rear, and let's walk over here and look at my springs. As you can see, right here is what my springs looked like originally. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 leaves plus your overload spring. Plus you have the other one that goes on top of it, which is that one right back here. So I'm going to count this as a leaf. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the helper spring, or the overload spring. Now, let's go over here and look at mine. Look at the difference. Mine's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 leaves in it. I don't see me exceeding the weight limit on this truck. If I do, I hope I'm not there, because it's going to be a bad day. So this is what we got. We got this frame, and like I said, I'm going to be getting the master cylinder, the lines, these shocks, and the rear end, and this support. I was going to get that one up there, but the problem is somebody has already destroyed that and bent it all to hell. I don't know how anybody can do stuff like that. It looks to me like somebody has put a chain around it, because it's bent here down and it's bent here up, and it's all bent that direction. So this one here is no good to me. Yeah, I would like to have had it, but I don't see me being able to straighten that. Yeah, with a torch I might be able to straighten it, and I may still yet take this out of here. I don't know, just in case I have to straighten it. So, but right now I'm just going to get this one. I got to cut this rivet, and that rivet, and then the same thing on this side. Take that ground strap off, take these off, and pull that out of there. Now that will get my frame to the width that it's supposed to be, so that the bed bolt will line up correctly. So it's in there, but I had to kind of booger up the threads on the bolt, getting it in there with the hammer, because the bolt hole was just so close, and I'd rather just go on and put that support in it and be done with it. The support I have in this location is going to be plenty for my truck, and I don't have to worry about it. Now I really ain't worried about the support back here that's on my truck, because I don't see it being a problem. But because this is original, I would like to at least get the original stuff put back in it. And who knows, by the time I actually do that job, putting the frame supports back in it that's correct, I may have found another one of these, or I may have been able to straighten this one. We're going to see if I can straighten it. If I can straighten it, yeah, I'll use this. But once you bend something like that and straighten it, it's already been weakened to begin with. Yes, I agree. It ain't going to amount to a row of shit houses, but it's enough that it would bother me. Also, we have a score. We were driving down the road and got into a traffic jam, and we found that laying on the road, and while we were stopped in traffic, I just jumped out and grabbed it and put it in the truck. Look at that big ass yoke, man. Tractor and trailer yoke. Looks to me like the universal joint's good, just needs caps put on it. So the other end must have fell off and ended up putting this on the ground. But that's a nice piece of steel right there, and I'm just going to cut that off right there and use this in the shop for some turning stock. I don't know if I want to turn this, because that's a lot of stop and starts on that blade, and that will be hard on the blade, so I may end up just cutting it off right there and take this little piece out, and that'd make a nice piece of turning stock. So right now we're just gonna put this rear end, and when I get it mounted in there, then I'll go take the other brakes and wheel cylinders back and get the right ones for it, and then I'll go ahead and put the brakes and the wheel cylinders on it. As you can see, I may not need brakes, I don't know. We're going to wait and see what happens. I'm hoping that the drums are going to be good, and I'm hoping that the brakes are good. Then that way all I need would be the wheel cylinders. And we already know, before we even take this thing apart, that it needs wheel cylinders, because that would not be there if it didn't. So they're leaking. Now these drums are a little different than the ones that's on my truck. These drums are bolted to this and this. So in order to get these drums off, you actually have to pull the axle and the bolt, or the nut that's on there that holds the bearings. So that's a little more inconvenient, but it's a whole lot tougher rear. So the aggravation that it takes to take this off is well worth the effort it takes to do this. The springs are the same length apart, and this is going to be a badass truck when I'm done. This is basically just information to keep you guys up to date as to how things are going with this truck, and hopefully we get this thing running again by middle of next week, I hope. It's a little cold today, and I'm not going to do a whole lot today. Plus it's the weekend, and I really don't feel like doing a whole lot of this work, so we're just going to piddle fart around today, get this rear end off. We're going to do some testing on it to see what gear ratio it is, and cross your fingers, guys. I'm hoping somebody has already thought of this and changed that gear ratio to put 355s in it, or 354. I'm a little confused. The ring, the pinion on mine is stamped right on the back side of it, 355. When you call a parts store, they don't consider it a 355, they consider it a 354. So one of two things has happened here. Either they've actually got two different ones, one is a 355 and one is a 354, or that one got stamped wrong. I don't know, but the parts store don't know what a 355 is. So if anybody understands that more than me, feel free to let me know. So anyway, I'm waiting on him to come, my buddy who went and helped me go get this yesterday. We went clear to South Carolina to get this yesterday. That was like a 2 or 3 hour trip one way, and I lucked out when I got this rear. Now we just hope we sell the parts out of mine and finance the parts for this rear. So stay tuned, guys. Alright guys, we got her apart, and we found out that this is 41-10. So it's a 410 rear, and as you can see, got a little bit of water in it, and I don't feel any grit in there nowhere. So basically this is just going to be simple as clean the grease out of it and add new to it. Once I put my plate back on it, we're not going to do no painting to this rear. We're just going to clean it up a little bit, the drums and stuff, and run it until I can get the ring gear. Now if anybody out there's got a 355 or 354, I'm not sure which one they consider it as, but if you've got a 354 ring and pinion that you'd be willing to trade for the 410, hey, give me a holler, man. By the way, this is Steve. Say hello, Steve.
Hi.
Y'all know my ugly ass. Anyway, so we're just going to go ahead and put this thing together and see about putting this under the truck. I don't know if that's going to happen today, but probably going to take us forever to get the other rear end out. We got to block the truck up and get the jack stands out from under it, and block it on the frame instead of the rear end, so that we can actually drop the rear end and set this one in place. At least we got this on a roller cart that I made when I was doing them air compressor jobs and moving them around. So I've got that, and this ought to be pretty painless. Once we get it over the truck, we'll just lift it up, put it on the jack, and then roll it underneath the truck. So we're not going to show that part. We've already showed that before in the last videos. So the next, I guess this will end this part of how to make your truck a dually. Anyway, you guys have a good one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, and don't say nothing about how ugly he is, because he already knows that. Anyway, you guys have a good one. Later. Alright guys, it's later in the evening, and we have got the rear end mounted. he had to go because the church called him and they have a food ready for him, which I actually need to do myself. And no, I'm not ashamed to do that. That's what they're there for. God put them there to help each other out. But anyway, we've got it mounted to the springs, and now I just got to hook everything up. I got to hook the brake lines up to it, the shocks, and parking brake cables, all that good stuff. And I'm going to try to get as much of it done as I can this evening, and at least get everything mounted so that all I have to do now is, or once I'm done, is take the drums off and hook the parking brake cables up and hack the bearings. We will never do that again. So we're on the downhill side. I'm gonna tell you, this rear end here is twice as heavy as that other rear. Goes to show you the difference in these rear ends, and I'm hoping that the universal joint's the same, because if it's not, I'm in trouble again. It means I'm gonna have to find another yoke, and I don't think that one on the 10.25 is going to fit this one, but I would imagine they're probably pretty standard. So I guess this is truly the end of this video. I ended it in the last section because I didn't think we was going to get this far. I wanted to kind of show you guys that we did at least get it in there. So we're on the downhill side, and I'm going to tell you, I hurt. This is not good on a body that's not very stable. So I hate seeing a dirty rear end up in there, but you know, I got to take it apart anyway again. So I'll just do it one piece at a time, just like a Johnny Cash. Anyway, anybody wants to buy all the parts out of my other one, locally of course, if there's anybody local watching my channel, it would be nice to know that somebody local is watching my channel. If they are, they probably hate me. But anyway, anybody wants to buy any of these parts, let me know. Like I said, that rear end and that one is brand new, everything brand new clutch pack. It's a Posi-Track 355 gear ratio. Everything's good except for the bearing race in the driver's side. Everything else is good. It didn't bother, it didn't hurt the axle or anything. So anybody wants any of these parts, man, let me know. You guys have a good one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment. I'm sure I'm going to have some comments. Keep it nice, guys. I'm doing the best I can here. Anyway, you guys have a good one. Later.